Breaking news. As the Gaza conflict looks to escalate, groups supported by Iran increase their attacks on Israel and the United States. As the second-in-command of the militant group Hezbollah warned that cross-border attacks would increase if Israel continued its deadly assault on the Gaza Strip, rockets launched from Lebanon Monday reached deeper into Israeli territory than any since the 2006 war. His comments came in an exclusive interview with NBC News and came as Iranian-backed militant groups across the Middle East launched an unprecedented array of attacks against American targets. Naim Qassem is the Deputy Secretary General of Hezbollah. Hezbollah participates for the sake of lowering the pressure on Gaza, Qassem said. Framed as the aggressor, he warned Israel that further attacks would send a clear message that if you expand, there will be serious consequences. When taken as a whole, the increased rhetoric from Hezbollah and the increasing strikes from a group of Iran-backed proxies suggest that this axis of resistance is working in concert to increase pressure on the United States and Israel to halt the latter's escalating assault on the Gaza Strip. Those in the axis of resistance have seen that the mastermind is America, Qassem declared. So they strike America under the principle of sending a message to stop. Just as Israel ought to cease. He went on. How does America and the rest of the world have the right to stand on the side of Israel that kills civilians and children and destroys homes while we don't have the right to support our people and our loved ones in Palestine and the region? On the front outside of Gaza, the fighting amounts to repeated harassment or tit-for-tat attacks rather than out-of-control conflict, indicating that restraint is evident on all sides despite the escalation. The latest crisis began a month ago with a surprise Hamas attack, and Hezbollah's moves are still a dangerous gambit that have brought the entire Middle East closer to a region-wide war than at any point since. There clearly is coordination between these groups, said David Schenker, a fellow at the Washington Institute and the former head of Near Eastern Affairs at the United States Department of State. They've raised the stakes now. Israel isn't the only country with a new front opening up. It was announced on Monday that Iranian-backed groups in Yemen had launched a batch of drones at Israeli targets. At the same time, 3 U.S. defense officials have reported that there were at least 10 more attacks against bases with Americans in Iraq and Syria over the weekend and Tuesday, bringing the total number of attacks to at least 38 since October 17. The majority of the attacks missed American bases entirely and did no harm. The assault comes after Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah made a highly anticipated speech in which he promised retaliation for Israeli attacks on Gaza from his group, which is designated as a terrorist organization by the United States and Israel and is by far Iran's most powerful proxy. Qassem told NBC News that Hezbollah's cross-border attacks, while becoming more powerful, are still restrained because they are meant to distract Israeli forces from their actions in Gaza. But he, like Nasrallah, was very careful to avoid making any firm promises. What we do now is what we need to be doing, and when we need to do more than that, we will, he said. Israel has warned Hezbollah not to make the mistake of going to war by saying that it has thousands of troops stationed in the north. On Monday, the United States surprised the world by announcing the deployment of a guided missile submarine to the region. The coordinated harassment of American military installations, according to Schenker, who previously served as the Pentagon's top policy aide on the Arab nations of the Levant, may be an attempt to relieve political pressure on Hezbollah by its supporters to fully enter the war and spare it from what could be disastrous Israeli retaliation. As a result, they increase the price for Israel, increase the pressure on Israel, and put the strength of our commitment to supporting Israel to the test, he said. Something must be happening that makes the Iranian threat more credible. I think that everyone knows that Iran doesn't want to waste the Hezbollah asset to protect Palestinians.